I was at the grocery store last Tuesday, standing in the soup aisle looking at a small jar of bone broth sitting on the shelf, $4.99 for maybe 2 cups of liquid. I stood there for a long moment and I thought about my mother. During the Depression, my mother made bone broth every single week from whatever bones were left after a meal: chicken bones, beef knuckles, ham hocks. She would put them in a pot on the wood stove with a little vinegar and water and let them simmer for a full day. Sometimes, too, the whole house smelled like warmth and nourishment, and it cost her absolutely nothing. That broth fed us through every cold, every stomach ailment, every hard week when there was not much else to eat. $5 a jar. My mother would have laughed until she cried. I was born in 1928 in a small town in rural Tennessee. My father worked at the mill. When the Depression hit, the mill cut hours, then cut wages, then closed altogether. There were 7 children in our house and one income that had nearly disappeared. My mother did not panic. She had been raised by a woman who raised her the same way, with the knowledge that your hands could provide almost everything your family needed if you knew how to use them. We did not buy cleaning supplies. We made them. We did not buy pasta or noodles. We made those too. We did not buy soap or broth or vanilla or half of what fills a grocery store aisle today. We made all of it, and it cost us almost nothing. I am 97 years old now. I still make most of these things the same way my mother taught me, and today I want to share 7 of them with you. Because the way prices are going, I have a feeling this knowledge is going to matter more and more. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Edna May, and on this channel I share what my mother taught me during the hardest years this country ever saw: Depression-era recipes, preservation secrets, and the kind of practical wisdom that kept families fed when money was almost gone. Hit that subscribe button right now so you do not miss a single video. Now, let us get into it. Number 1, bone broth. I already told you about standing in that grocery store aisle, but let me tell you what bone broth actually did for our family, because I do not think people understand what they are buying in that little jar. My mother never let a bone leave this earth without giving everything it had first. After a chicken dinner, the carcass went straight into the pot. After a ham, the ham bone went in. Beef bones from the butcher. He used to give them away for almost nothing because nobody much wanted them. She would cover them with cold water, add a splash of apple cider vinegar that draws the minerals out of the bone, a handful of whatever vegetables were aging in the root cellar, an onion, some peppercorns if we had them, and she would let that pot sit on the back of the wood stove for anywhere from 12 to 24 hours. What came out was liquid gold. Dark, rich, gelatinous when it cooled. We drank it plain when someone was sick. We used it as the base for every soup and stew we made. We cooked our beans in it. We poured it over bread when there was nothing else. Bone broth costs nothing to make. The bones are free from your own meals or next to nothing from a butcher. A large pot gives you 8 to 10 cups. My rule has always been this: no bone leaves my kitchen without going into a pot first, every single one. Number 2, egg noodles. I want you to think about how much you spend on pasta in a month. Boxes of spaghetti, bags of noodles, packs of rotini. It adds up. It always adds up. We never bought a single noodle during the Depression, not one. My mother could have noodles on the table from scratch in under an hour. She would make a well in the center of a mound of flour right on the kitchen table. No bowl, just the wooden table. Crack 2 eggs in the middle, add a pinch of salt and a few tablespoons of water, and work the dough together with her hands until it was smooth and firm. She would roll it thin with a wooden rolling pin, thinner than you think it needs to be, cut it into strips with a knife, and drape them over the back of a chair draped with a clean dish towel to dry. An hour later, those noodles went into whatever broth or soup we had going. They were better than anything that ever came out of a box, thicker, richer. They held up to long simmering without going to mush. The ingredients: 2 cups of flour, 2 eggs, half a teaspoon of salt, 2 to 3 tablespoons of water. That is it. That makes enough noodles to feed a family of 4. It costs maybe 20 cents with today's prices. Nobody needs to buy pasta, nobody. Number 3, lard. I know what you are thinking. Lard. That old-fashioned fat that everyone decided was terrible for you sometime in the 1960s. Let me tell you something. My mother cooked with lard her entire life. Her mother cooked with lard. I cooked with lard. And I am 97 years old and I still have my own teeth. During the Depression, lard was everything. It was how you fried your eggs in the morning. It was what made your pie crust flaky and light. There is still nothing better for pastry than lard. I do not care what anyone tells you. It was what you rubbed on a child's chest when they had a cold. It was what kept your cast iron skillet seasoned. And we made it ourselves from pork fat scraps. The butcher would sell pork fat back for almost nothing. You cube it, put it in a heavy pot on low heat, and let it render down slowly. The fat melts out, and the solid bits left behind are called cracklins. Those you salted and ate as a snack. Nothing was wasted. What came out of that pot you strained through a cloth and poured into jars. It kept for months in a cool pantry, longer in a root cellar. My mother's rule was this: you always have lard on hand. If you have lard, flour, and salt, you are never more than 30 minutes from feeding someone. I want to pause for a moment and ask you something. Did your grandmother or your mother make any of these things at home? Leave it in the comments below. I read every single one, and I would love to hear your family stories. And if you have not subscribed yet, now is a good time to do it. There is plenty more coming. Number 4, laundry soap. Have you looked at the price of laundry detergent lately? It is extraordinary. And most of it is water and fragrance with a small amount of actual cleaning buried in there somewhere. During the Depression, we made our own laundry soap for next to nothing. My mother made a batch twice a year and it lasted us the full time between. The recipe is simple. You take a bar of plain lye soap. Fell's Naphtha is the old brand and you can still find it today, and you grate it finely. Mix that with 1 cup of washing soda and 1 cup of borax. That is the whole recipe. Stir it together and store it in a tin or a sealed jar. 1 tablespoon per load. That is all you need. The batch my mother made using 1 bar of soap cost her maybe 15 cents total. It did dozens and dozens of loads of laundry through the whole season. The washing soda and borax cut grease and strip hard water minerals out of the fabric. The soap does the actual cleaning. It works on everything: work clothes, children's clothes, linens, everything. I have not bought commercial laundry detergent in 60 years. I see no reason to start now. Number 5, vanilla extract. A small bottle of pure vanilla extract at the grocery store runs around $8 now, sometimes more. And most people go through several bottles a year. My mother made vanilla extract that lasted for years from a handful of vanilla beans and a bottle of cheap whiskey. That is genuinely all there is to it. You take 5 or 6 vanilla beans, split them lengthwise down the center with a knife so the seeds are exposed, drop them into a clean glass jar, and cover them completely with 80 proof alcohol. Vodka works well. Cheap bourbon works even better and adds warmth to the flavor. You put the lid on, give it a good shake, and set it in the back of a dark cabinet. Every week you shake it. After 8 weeks, you have real vanilla extract, darker and richer than anything from a store, with no artificial anything in it. Here is the best part. When the bottle gets low, you add more alcohol. The beans keep giving for years. My mother had a vanilla jar that she kept going from the same original beans for 12 years. The cost of 6 vanilla beans and a small bottle of vodka comes to around $10 or $11, but that extract lasts you years, not months. You do the math. Number 6, all-purpose cleaner. We did not have a cabinet full of different sprays for every surface in the house. We had white vinegar. It cleaned almost everything: countertops, windows, the icebox, the floors. My mother's recipe was equal parts white vinegar and water in a glass jar. If she wanted it to smell better, she would drop in a handful of dried lavender or a few strips of lemon peel and let it sit for a few days to steep before using it. That mixture cut through grease, removed hard water stains from windows, left no toxic residue anywhere near our food. I will be honest with you. Plain vinegar does not kill every germ, and if someone in your house is sick, you want something strong stronger for the bathroom, but for everyday cleaning of kitchen counters, the stovetop, appliances, windows, and floors, there is nothing wrong with it. We stayed healthy on it for decades. A gallon of white vinegar costs about $3. Diluted 50%, that gallon makes 2 gallons of cleaning spray. You could clean your entire house for months on $3. The companies that sell you 6 different sprays in 6 different colors would rather you did not know that. Number 7, dried herb remedies. Before I had ever seen the inside of a drugstore, my mother had already taken care of most of what ailed us. Not everything. I want to be clear about that. There are things that need a real doctor, and I would never tell you otherwise. But the ordinary troubles of everyday life, a child that could not sleep, a stomach that would not settle, a cough that had gone on too long, a cut that needed help healing. My mother had something for all of it growing in her garden or along the fence row. Chamomile she dried and made into tea for restless children and upset stomachs. A strong cup before bed settled a child like almost nothing else. Elderberries she cooked down with a little honey into a thick syrup we took all through the winter months. Plantain, the broad flat weed that grows in nearly every yard, she mashed into a poultice and laid directly on cuts and insect stings. It draws inflammation out better than half of what is at the pharmacy. Peppermint dried into tea for headaches and indigestion, all of it grown, foraged, or traded with neighbors, all of it dried on wooden trays in the warm part of the house, stored in paper bags or small tins, labeled in pencil. My mother spent almost nothing on medicine for ordinary ailments. She simply paid attention to what grew around her. 7 things: bone broth, egg noodles, lard, laundry soap, vanilla extract, all-purpose cleaner, and dried herb remedies. Not one of them required a trip to the store. Not one of them cost more than a few cents when they cost anything at all. My mother used to say that the difference between a family that struggles and a family that manages is not money, it is knowledge. The things I have shared with you today are not old-fashioned. They are practical. They work just as well now as they did 90 years ago. The only thing that has changed is that nobody is teaching them anymore. I want to change that. If you found this useful, please leave a comment and tell me which one surprised you most. And if you know someone who is trying to stretch their grocery budget right now, a young family, a neighbor, anyone at all, please share this video with them. This information costs nothing, and it might mean a great deal to someone. Subscribe if you have not already. I put out a new video every week, and there is so much more I want to share with you. Until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and remember, your grandmother knew more than you think.